last, he says. Welcome to another RTO live ranking with Iain. Today's live albums are we going to be looking at Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. Well, it's all Black Sabbath to me, so I'll put them all together and we're going to look at the live albums of this fantastic band. Got 10 to look at. Very hard to rank these, bar one, because they are all very good. I love them all. It was a tough one, this was. I had to sit and listen to all again, which was a terrible thing, to listen to Black Sabbath live. But we got there in the end. So, without further ado, let's get a crack in. And coming in at number 10 is the controversial album from 1980, Live at Last. There's a bit of a history to this, isn't there? It was released without permission or knowledge of the band, but the band's former manager, Patrick Meehan, owned the rights to it. So he released it. And on the cover, Ozzy Osbourne is spelled O-S-S-I-E. But everyone kissed up and made up, and there was a re-release with the approval of the band in 2010. It's a weird one because it has got some good tracks on it, but it hasn't got a lot of the classics. And the recording of it is pretty naff. It's not. It looks like someone's got a tape recorder and put the microphone up like that. It's got Tomorrow's Dream on it, Sweet Leaf. It's not the best version of that. Killing Yourself a Lot to Live. Corky Noppy, I never can pronounce that. You know the one. Snowblind, Embryo, Children of the Grave. It's not a bad version. War Pigs. It's a bit tinny. Wicked World, it's a medley and it's got Into the Void. It meanders on a bit. It's got Supernaut, and it's not the best version of Paranoid I've heard. I've got it, but I don't play it anymore. I can't remember the last time I put it on, because I'll tell you a lie, I didn't listen to it, I skipped through it to remember how bad the recording was. So unfortunately it only gets an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Coming in at number 9 is a live double album type thing, released in 1970, not even 19, try 2002. Past Lives. Right, the first album is a better recording of Live at Last, and then you get other tracks as well. They're a little bit better. Someone's actually made them sound a little bit better. So you've got the ones from the last one. They sound a lot better, I must admit. Much better. And then on the other disc we get Hand of Doom, Rat Salad, Hole in the Sky, which is really good version. Symptom of the Universe, that is pretty awesome on this. Iron Man, Black Sabbath, NIB, behind the Wall of Sleep, and Fairies Wear Boots. It's not a bad recording actually. Remember, this is recorded back in 1970. I do play this one a bit more. So I give it an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10 because it's got some of the classics on it. And it was nice to hear the classics done back in the day. I have also got it's not an official release, but it's an album of Black Sabbath live stuff. Might do a show on unofficial live material from all bands, to be quite honest, because there are some really good live albums that weren't actually official albums from the band. Okay, coming in at number 8 is live, gathered in their masses. Released in 2013. This came as a DVD, Blu-ray, in a little box. And it had Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, Ozzy Osbourne, Adam Wakeman on the keyboards, and Tommy Clufatos on the drums. The recording of this, it's not the best recording, you know, considering it was 2013. It just lacks something. I mean, it's got some great tracks on it. I mean, it's got Opens Up with War Pigs, then you get Loner, Black Sabbath, Methodemic, NIB, Iron Man, End of the Beginning, Fairies Wear Boots, God Is Dead, and Sabbath Buddy Sabbath intro with Paranoid. Really good set of songs, but it just lacks a little bit of oomph. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Coming in at number 7 is Cross Purposes Live. This is the only live album to feature Tony Martin, released in 1995. It's a really good album. Now, I like all versions of Black Sabbath, and I think Tony Martin was a fantastic singer. Not only could he sing the stuff that he recorded with the band, he could sing Ozzy stuff and Dio stuff. Fantastic. So on this tour, we've got obviously Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, long-term keyboard player Jeff Nichols, and Tony Martin on vocals, and Bobby Rondelli, who's drum with Rainbow as one of the people. Time Machine. This is pretty cool because before it goes into the song, you get little snippets of all their songs. It's great. I mean, I love Time Machine. It's a great track. Children of the Grave, really good version. Eyewitness, really good. The Mob Rules, great track. Into the Void. Anno Mundi, that is a corker track. It's one of the later tracks. Black Sabbath, Neon Knights, Psychophobia, The Wizard. They hadn't performed this for such a long time. It was really good. Chat, Cross of Thorns, Symptom of the Universe, Headless Cross, which is a fantastic song. And then you get this Paranoid Heaven and Hell that comes in and out of each other. Iron Man and Paranoid, and it ends up with Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. It's a very enjoyable album. If you haven't listened to it, I would go and have a listen to it. It's great production, sounds really good, and I'll give it an RTO ranking of 8.5. Coming in at number 6 then, released in 2017. The End, live in Birmingham. This features the final performance of their farewell concert. We had 3 of them, Ozzy, Tony and Geezer. Tony Clufus was filling in for the bands on the drums, and Adam Wakeman was doing the keys. To be quite honest, it's a sentimental show because this is the last, but Ozzy's voice was really rough, and I don't think the recording of it is the best. You thought, this being the last show, you thought they'd really do something special, and oh yeah, the show was great. I mean, I've watched the video and all that sort of thing, but I think the production on this is pretty lousy. This is controversial, I know, but it's not the best production. It's got opens up with Black Sabbath, Fairy Wears Boots, Under the Sun, Every Day Comes, After Forever, Into the Void, Snowblind, all the classics, War Pigs, Beyond the Wall of Sleep, NIB, Hand of Doom. Then you get a little medley of Supernaut, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath and Megalomania, Rat Salad and a drum solo. He's not Bill Ward, let's face it. That's another reason. It just doesn't sound right. Iron Man, Dirty Women, which is a great track, Children of the Grave, and Paranoid. Sentimental version, reasons I like it. But production-wise, it's not as bad. But I still give it an RTO ranking of 8.9. It's an enjoyable album. Okay, coming in at number 5. This was recorded in late 81-82 during the Mob Rules tour and was released in 2007 in a limited edition of 5,000. How did I get this? I am not saying. That's a secret between me and the person that got it for me. It's live at Hammersmith Odeon. This is the Ronnie James Dio lineup. Dio, Iommi, Butler and a piece. Jeff Nichols is supplying the keyboards. Some great tracks on here. Opens up with E5150, Neon Nights, fantastic song. NIB, The Brilliant Children of the Sea, Country Girl, this is the only album that's got a live version of this on from that period. Black Sabbath, War Pigs, Slipping Away, Iron Man, The Mob Rules, Heaven and Hell and Paranoid, Voodoo and Children of the Grave. Great sound on this. I love this period of Black Sabbath. They made some really good records, and I give this an RTO ranking of a 9 out of 10. Coming in at number 4 is live from Radio City Music Hall. This is the Heaven and Hell album, but it is Black Sabbath. It's the same Black Sabbath. It's the same guys that was in with Dio. So it's got some great versions of songs on here. It sounds really good. The production on this is fantastic. Recorded at Radio City Hall in New York. We've got 5150 After All the Dead, The Mob Rules, great version of that on here. Children of the Sea is just outstanding. Lady Evil, that sounds really good. Then we get I from Dehumanizer, really strong track. Sign of the Southern Cross, fantastic. Voodoo, The Devil Cried, Computer God, Falling Off the Edge of the World, Shadow of the Wind, fantastic song. The Brilliant Die Young, Heaven and Hell, Lonely is the Word, and Neon Nights. A fantastic album, brilliant production, everyone sounds fantastic, and I give it an RTO ranking of 9.2. Okay, coming in at number 3. This is the first official live album from Black Sabbath, and it is Live Evil. Absolutely cracking album, and it's got Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, Ronnie James Dio, who was credited as Ronnie Dio on this, Vinny Appice, and Jeff Nichols is behind the scenes on the Ivories again. Opens up again with E150, Neon Nights, NIB, Children of the Sea, all the classics from that era, Voodoo, Black Sabbath, War Pigs, Iron Man, The Mob Rules, Heaven and Hell, Sign of the Southern Cross. Then it goes back into Heaven and Hell, Paranoid, Children of the Grave and Fluff. Great album, considering it was the first one, a proper one we'd heard. I loved it when it came out. The sound is pretty good, but you know, considering this was recorded in the 80s, it's not too bad. But it still gets a RTO ranking of 9.5. Okay, coming in at number 2, released in 1998, the reunion album of the original lineup. This is fantastic. I love this album. Of all the later live classic lineup of Black Sabbath, this is the one. This sounds absolutely brilliant. And what else is what you got on this? You got 2 new studio tracks, which were brilliant. Opens up with the brilliant War Pigs. Bill Ward's drumming is just fantastic. The end, that guy, he can drum, but as I said, this is Bill Ward is the man. I like it because he's got a bit of a jazz back. There's all them little twiddly bits, as I call them. Beyond the Wall of Sleep, NIB, Fairy-Wear Boot, Electric Funeral, Sweet Leaf, Spiral Architect, Into the Void, Snowblind, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, Orchid, Lord of This World, Dirty Women, Black Sabbath, Iron Man, Embryo, Children of the Grave, Paranoid. What a gig. And it sounds absolutely spot on. Recorded in Birmingham at the NEC. Terrific. Then we got 2 extra tracks that they've gone into the studio to do. First one, Psycho Man. Too many of voice effects on Ozzy's voice. Doesn't sound very good at all. And Selling My Soul sounds a lot better. Good track. Love this album. When I played it again, because I hadn't played it for a little while, cranked it right up. There was nobody about. It was in the middle of the day. Windows were open, so the street was listening to Black Sabbath. And I give this an RTO ranking of 9.8. So coming in at number 1, this may upset a few people, but as it's my ranking, it's my personal choice. It's not the right choice, but it's mine. Coming in at number 1 then is Neon Nights, 30 Years of Heaven and Hell. Recorded in Germany at the Wacken and released in 2010. It's a fantastic album. Any album, now this is outdoors, any album that's been recorded at Wacken, the production is just, I don't know what they do. I think I've mentioned this before, but the production is fantastic. It's the best live album of any of the Black Sabbath Heaven and Hell put together. I've got a Judas Priest album from Wacken, that sounds brilliant. I've got a live DVD of Saxon, sounds brilliant. Even the new Status Quo, they released an album recorded at Wacken. It's fantastic sound. This has got obviously songs from the Devil You Know, Mob Rules, Heaven and Hell, and Dehumanizer. Absolutely brilliant. Opens up with the brilliant Mob Rules, Children of the Sea, Bible Black, fantastic. Time Machine, great track. Fear, Falling Off the Edge of the World, Follow the Tears, Die Young. That's the best version of Die Young ever. Absolutely spot on. Heaven and Hell, the classic. This is 20 minutes. It's just unbelievable. And we end up with Neon Nights. Ranking it, there's only one number this gets. It's a 10 for me. Bit controversial for some Sabbath fans, but at the end of the day, Ozzy's voice and Dio's voice. Dio is a far better singer. I'm not disputing that the Ozzy stuff's fantastic, but when you put it down singer against singer, Ronnie James Dio is the man. Very controversial. Put your comments, I'm sure you will, after that little ranking, but as I say, this is my personal thing. If you've got a different one, put it in the comments below, able to just start a discussion. We've got an album to look at this later, The Who, not with Roger Daltrey, but the Mongolian one. That'll be interesting. So I'll see you for that. Take care for now.